evening. Belfast, boxing and blues. Yes. Um, yeah, it's not really the most. It's a pretty unconvincing intro, isn't it? I would like very much to be very self-assured and just to come straight out and deliver the intro, that slogan, every time with the same force and really just get down to some straight boxing talk, which is what it's all about, really, isn't it? And anything other than that is criminal. Um, but it depends really what kind of a boxing fan you are. You know, some of us just want to see punches. Some of us are really into CompuBox and things like that, and other people, it's almost like a soap opera, and they're interested in the characters and the relationships and what's going on. I mean, we're all human beings. I think we all like a bit of these different aspects, don't we? But in some ways, it's horses for courses. And maybe that's why we all have different favorite fighters, and in some instances, different favorite promoters, different favorite presenters, pundits. People seem to be favoring or falling out of favor with, or vice versa, with chairmen of you know all of these associations. Um, Mauricio Sulaiman's come out with all of this talk now about VAR and boxing, and we've seen the wonders that it's worked for football. Yeah, as if football wasn't dying on its fucking arse already. Pardon the F bomb. Yeah, we're gonna stop the flow of the game. Yeah, you'd think after half a season they would have went, look, this isn't working. Get rid of it. Yeah, but yeah, let's bring it into boxing. It's not gonna work. It's stupid. It's stupid. And the six judges, the five or six judges. Now, I have heard this spoke about by an authority no greater than uh, Stephen Edwards, Breadman. And he spoke about this a few times. And he has a sort of an idea that if you had judges positioned at certain places, and whether it was five or whether it was six, and how that would work out with scoring, he had an idea, and obviously he's no slouch, he had thought it through, and so there could be something in that. But let's face it, boxing is corrupt. Yeah, there's corruption everywhere. Look at Donald Trump. There's corruption in football, there's corruption in business, there's corruption everywhere, man. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts. Or power, as we call it here in Belfast. We don't say powerful, we say powerful. That's just how we talk. So, I mean, for me, if you need to personify corruption, by sort of building up this caricature and projecting all of your hatred and resentment, onto this figure in Mauricio Sulaiman, who's, I don't think he's all that bad. He's just doing his job. If it wasn't him, it would be some other guy. Yeah, I don't really think it's him personally. That's the issue here. So, of course there's corruption in boxing. If you're somebody that, considers himself qualified to talk about boxing and to give an opinion, and you see these things. We all see these things. Yes. But it's how you navigate it. And it can sometimes lead to a deeper understanding. And I would have thought that the general understanding was it exists. Alright, we'll work around it as best we can. But I don't think any one-man crusade is going to wipe it out. We can protest it, we can talk about it and fly the banner. You know, do that if you want. Or we can talk about the fights. We can talk about the fighters. We can talk about how to improve the sport, rather than, it's these YouTube commenters, man, no disrespect to anybody watching, but, if you've got a negative mindset and you're trying to pick holes in things all the time, you must at least put a positive slant on it for your own good, for your own well-being, Uh, I see so many intelligent comments, people that have invested, you know, minutes upon minutes of concocting these ideas and opinions in their YouTube comments. And you can see that these are intelligent people, but there's something just missing. They need somebody just to come in and just pivot, some Zen master to utter the right phrase right on time. That will upend them, make them go away. They might be in some emotional pain. And then once they process it, they'll come back and they'll have realized something. I think that's an issue right the way through. But certainly in boxing with a lot of these trolls, and you can tell that these are people that are passionate about the sport. And they are intelligent, but there's just something they're not quite getting. Something they're not quite on to. I was actually about to sit down and enjoy some talk sport stuff, Simon Jordan. And he's something of a tyrant, Him and Sulaiman, I think they'd get on quite good. That would be a good interview, wouldn't it? Up front, with Mauricio Sullivan, who cares? We're going to make him John L. Sullivan. Yeah. So, I seen an interview with Sulaiman, and, he was talking about the sport, and he is, interested and, invested in grassroots matters. Obviously, he's in on the business end of things. He says, I'm not a promoter. They are promoters. I am not a promoter, Which he isn't. But obviously the guy likes the spotlight a little, and, he's getting involved. He's not an Al Heyman type, back in the shadows. No, he's right in there. And he's leading fighters to the rings, he's giving interviews, but I think that's kind of good in a way, because it lets us relate then to these organisations and get a little more understanding as to what's going on. Now, like Eddie Hearn is so fond of saying about Don King, he wasn't an angel, he was no angel, but when he put on a fight, when he was in town, you knew there was a fight happening. None of these guys are angels, man. The guys with the power, they aren't angels. No. They're, demons. But there's good in the bad, and there's bad in the good. And some of these guys, I think they're all right. I think he's okay. Mauricio Sulaiman. When he talks about the grassroots stuff and the gyms, he was talking about the smell of the gym. The main thing about a gym is the smell. Like, the first thing you will notice is the smell. He says, you can go to fucking, anywhere in the world, it will smell the same. Trust me, It's like, okay. He knows what he's on about. Like, so, it's all good. Now, the manner in which he goes about his business, who are we to question? Really? Well, of course we are entitled to our opinion, and we are entitled to that. But I think our energies would be better invested in other directions. Of course, we want to scrutinise these people to some degree. We want to know what's behind the mask. But again, like I say, it's what you're into. It's what you're into. Yeah. Some people are into the nuts and bolts aspect. Some people want to see boxing grow. Some people like the crack. Some people love the fights. They like the technical aspects of it. Some people are aficionados of the sport. They like the history. They like all of this. Other people just want to see knockouts. They want to drink a few beers. They want to whistle at the ring card girls. And I think Mauricio Sulaiman, as long as he's, doing his job to to a reasonable, he's keeping his job, isn't he? He hasn't been fired yet. He must be doing something right. So I think just let him crack on, and hopefully he doesn't bring in this VAR nonsense. I mean, I don't think he holds absolute power. I'd have thought that somebody would step in, an advisor or something, say, Mauricio, mate, look, I'm not quite sure about that, but just the VAR, we're not going to go ahead with that. We'll just talk to the boys, and we don't think it's a great idea. And Mauricio may protest, but he's like anybody else, you look to your circle and you try to find direction from there, and if you don't take direction from your circle and take the advised advice, you're going to find yourself feeling very lonely, and who wants that? But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm going to get into some Brenty Monaghan stuff soon. I'm currently doing the research, I probably should be researching it right now, but I'm had to talk about Mauricio for a bit. And yeah, so I made reference to this NBA. So that was interesting. National Boxing Association. So apparently it came up. They had the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and these guys formed this other thing. This NBA. They thought these guys have absolute power, and we don't like all the decisions they're making. But we're going to start this, and then although it was the National Boxing Association, it was in the States, and so they had a world title. And Renty Monaghan held that world flyweight title. The box rec is quite confusing because sometimes it'll say, oh, this title's on the line. Then there's gaps, and then he's in for the title again, though it's not listed correctly. It's, I suppose, because it's so long ago, it's just different. But yeah, supposedly even back then, prior to the four governing bodies that we know and love today, even then there was, disputes, acrimony, and all this juicy stuff, between the NBA, not basketball, the National Boxing Association, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So there you are, something to get into, guys, and like I say, he liked the wee sing song too, so, it's just a great story. Belfast Boxing and Blues, guys, sleep well tonight, and we'll see what the crack is tomorrow.